I will, but I think we're starting first. I don't know if it's Madison. It's just going to kick us off, or Nancy is going to kick us off, and then I'll be sharing the slides.
Yes.
Yep.
So Madison will start, then we'll have Leapwork come on, then we'll have Jen and Tanya come on the favorite features, and then we're going to do a survey.
Awesome.
Great.
Well, hello, everybody. My name is Madison Zulowitz. For those of you that I have not met, I am the event coordinator here at Doug. So I help run our local and regional meetup program. So I'm just going to go through a little bit about Doug and who we are and what we offer before we pass it on over to Leapwork. So Doug is a free community for users, implementers, and resellers of Microsoft business applications. We mainly support Dynamics 365, GP, and Power Platform, and we are a community to hopefully help people grow and excel in their personal and professional careers. Our rules of engagement are that we ask, obviously, unless you were a sponsor, that you do not promote your personal businesses. We ask that you keep these solely educational and no sales pitches. We want everybody to be able to come to these meetings and learn some educational content and walk away with some good networking and knowledge. So Dynamics User Group, we offer multiple different programs. We have online open discussion forums. If you ever have a question, there's lots of people in the community that would love to answer. We have webinars, meetups like this one. We also have conferences, and we have a YouTube channel. Like Nancy had mentioned, a lot of times our local meetups get posted to our YouTube channel and people go back and watch them. So if you're ever curious to see what any other meetup is talking about, YouTube is a great resource to see different meetups all around the world. So we have our 2025 Doug regional meetups. These are a little bit larger in scope than our local meetups like this one. So they are full day events, and we usually have multiple different education sessions, multiple different breakout rooms talking about multiple different products. So really great day. These are free events, and we are going to Northeast. We're going to Philadelphia in March. We're going to Copenhagen in April, Canada in June, West Africa in July, East Africa in July, Colorado in August, Ohio in August, and Texas in September. So we're very excited about these. If you are interested in learning more or attending, we would highly encourage it. And please check out our website or feel free to just message me and I'll get you set up. We also have a very exciting promo going on right now. We have our 2025 DynamicsCon, which is Doug's largest conference of the year. This is a multi-day, if I can get it to pull back up. This is a multi-day event. We will have lots of different educational sessions, lots of different networking opportunities. I'm sure a lot of people on this call have attended in the past before and can ramble on about how great it is. But we actually have a free ticket for every single one of our meetup members this year. So this expires on February 28th, but if you are able to attend, we would highly suggest signing up now, as this is the only time that we will be handing out free passes, and you can use the code MEETUPMember to be able to claim your free ticket. And I'll send that in the chat for anybody that's curious. Thank
Awesome.
you guys. Yeah, we're very excited about it. We fought hard for that one. So
I have 2 speaking slots, so very happy to be speaking there. So Nancy Calder, pleased to host this meetup today. We have on our agenda, we have our colleagues AJ and Nick from Leapwork, who are going to come and share information about automated testing, and it applies across the Dynamics and Power Platform. So it covers both CRM and ERP, which I find super exciting because we often have use cases that go across both parts of the platform. So they'll do a presentation for us on automated testing today. And then Jen and Tanya are here, and they will talk a little bit about, we've been having this recurring feature about my favorite features, and we find lots of cool little tips and tricks that you may not be thinking about. So very excited to have them do that. And Tanya, I think, are you going to do our little survey at the end or get some feedback?
Vonda's going to do it. She has the link she's going to send out. But yeah, thanks for the reminder. Please don't hang up. We want some feedback, so watch out for that at the end.
All right, so without further ado, over to Leapwork to share your screen and start us on this automated testing journey.
Yeah, first start out with some introductions. I guess I'll let you go first, AJ.
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Ajay Singh, and I'm part of the Microsoft Fast Tech D365 team. Been with Microsoft for over 15 years and helping customer. And here we are with Nick. Nick, you.
Yeah, Nick Morea. I'm the VP for Global Sales Engineering here at Leapwork. And the past 4 years, I've spent my time bridging the gap between our product team, our go-to-market team, and our customers. My role is typically to function as the technical hat, as I lead a team of technical engineers that help to assist us with that mission on bridging the gap between computers and humans. I'll let Ajay start and go over first really what on his side from Microsoft, what they're looking at before I jump into the Leapwork side, how we help to address it and go to a live demo.
Yeah, as you saw in the agenda, is that the agenda for this call is more about how do we automate the testing across all Microsoft platform. However, since we wanted to also touch base on the new investment that Microsoft is doing in terms of the agentic approach that we have been taking, and we'll talk about few preview features that is coming up this month, and then we'll also go into the detail how we can use Leapwork to automate testing of our agents, right? So now, when we talk about the agents, right, as we have been seeing that AI is changing the way we work, right? So this kind of reboots, it's changed. If you just look at, if you go back 2-3 years back, the way we have been working on the customer service or any product that we interact today, the AI is a kind of, I would say, it's a generational shift that happens in the technology. It happens once in a, in the timeline, right? It doesn't happen every day. So the AI is changing the way we work in any technology that we have been using, any software. Here, now we will be kind of focusing on how AI is reimagining our customer services, right? How we D365 contact service is changing with the AI. So now if we go to the next and look at how we have been servicing our customer using our contact center or the customer service in D365, earlier to 2021 and 2000 before, we had service rep, like if you just imagine about any call center and the service center where you have individual agents with the headphones taking the calls from the customer, right? Starting 2022 and 2023 with the GenAI approach and the Copilot that we launched, right? Now service reps are equipped with the Copilot, which is helping our service rep to deliver services based on all the knowledge grounding that the Copilot assisting our service rep. However, starting 2024 with agentic approach, now the Copilot is doing all the work that is to be done by a service rep in the past, and the service rep is overseeing. If you recall, right, couple of months back, NVIDIA CEO mentioned once, like in future, our IT team will become HR for Copilot or generative AI. So this is what is happening right now, that the Copilot and agent will do most of the repetitive task where it's being reviewed by our service rep. So that's the transformational change that is happening with Copilot and generative AI. Now, if you just look at our investments that we have done in the spectrum of agents, right? We started from the simple to advanced. So in simple, if you look at, we have retrievals. It's mostly about the grounding of the data that you have, providing a summarization and all information to our service rep to help resolve customer issues on time, right? That's the kind of a simple that we started. Then we also have an intermediate, which is the task automation. Basically, you can define your rule and workflow that replaces the repetitive task that our service reps have been doing. So that is transforming or making our service rep more efficient so that I don't need to do the repetitive task. And in the advanced, which is the preview feature that we are launching this month in our contact center, is an autonomous agent. So you can define the orchestration, and our automation agent will do all the stuff that I need to do for the providing customer service, and it's escalate to our service rep as and when needed based on the grounding of the data. Now, so the way it's changing, right? Right now, we have human-led and Copilot assisted customer service. With agents, we have Copilot led and human reviewed services. The Copilot is doing all the services that needs to be done, with providing all the evergreen data, the knowledge so that it can provide, and then our agents being supercharged with all those knowledge and being supervised by our service rep. So that's the transformational shift that we are seeing with the agent being launched in the different area. It helps our service rep to work on the multiple cases at a time, while our agents are doing some repetitive tasks and also providing knowledge that is needed for our service rep to provide a customer resolution. Right, so if you go, you see here the information flow, right? The customer can use any channel to reach out to our contact center. They can use email, calls, Teams, chatbot, right? And the Copilot, based on the knowledge insights and the workflow, autonomous workflow that we have defined, will try to resolve the customer questions, customer ask, and the request. However, in some cases, there's an intelligent routing. What it does is that it identifies that based on the knowledge and the rules that has been defined, we are not able to answer the customer questions or solve the problem. It routes to a service rep. Now, if you just visualize the same thing in the past, what was happening is that you repeat yourself. You ask your chatbot or anything, then you repeat again. You explain the problem again. Now our service rep has all the conversational data. Plus, it's also being assisted about all the knowledge source that is our Copilot has acquired. That makes the resolution faster. Now, I'll quickly go to introducing our 3 agents that we are doing a public preview this month and the next month. The very first one is the customer intent agent. So what it does is that it mines the intents. All your prompts that you have been asking question about, whenever you go, it will start suggesting, hey, that you are talking about your X number of problems. It will provide, it will assist you and provide a way to self-serve. So that's the customer intent agent, which went to the public preview this month. Again, all the public previews are in the English right now. We will be supporting other languages in future. Then we have our customer knowledge management agent. What it does, it's helping our customer intent agent. So our customer intent, identifying the agent, your intent, your conversation across different channels, summarizing it, and also updating all our knowledge article, because in any organization, the product technology is changing very quickly, right? So our knowledge base needs to be updated. Now, we have been doing it manually in the past. Now our knowledge agent will do that to make it an evergreen knowledge, and it will support our customer intent agent to solve the problems, right? An automated fashion or self-service fashion. Then the next one, which is going to come out as a preview, public preview in the February, which is the case management agent, which we are talking about, like, doing certain automated or repetitive tasks, right? You have been talking to your customer, like creating the cases, taking all the notes, creating the collaborative request. All this has been done manually in the past, you taking notes and having the information spread across different sources. Now the case management agent is going to help you to do all that stuff in a cohesive fashion so that we can easily provide a resolution to the customers. So these are the 3 agents. Now, since Microsoft is investing a lot in this agentic functionality, we also wanted to make sure that we also have a tooling which can do the testing of these agents, right? And that's where we partnership with Leapwork, and we will seeing a quick about how Leapwork is helping us to test our agents. Nick,
Thank you, Ajay. I appreciate that. And I think it was very important to share direct from Microsoft what their strategy is, how they are improving their product, leveraging AI. So all of you can really get the benefits of the efficiency and productivity. Now it comes down to, how do we solve for that automation. What I'm going to take you through is very briefly an explanation of Leapwork for those of you that might be new to it, and then I'll dive into some of the AI specific functions and capabilities that we've introduced alongside Microsoft on how to get the most out of not only the investment you're making and what Microsoft is doing on the AI front, but how much better that can be when you are validating and verifying the results of that content, the results of those prompts. So first, let me start by talk about what Leapwork does. And we really help the largest enterprises and organizations as they move through legacy modernization and cloud migrations, whether that be from an old legacy ERP to Dynamics 365 F&O or other applications across your tech stack. So we've built this application, and it's a platform that helps to automate testing across all of these different technologies. We realize that a digital enterprise consists of many different user journeys, and that's how we see the world in general. It's not just a particular application that lives in a silo. Your customers, your employees are entering and exiting these journeys, and it works seamlessly across many different applications. Now, we know that an error in one application at the end of the day affects, in this example, the customer's ability to check out and make a purchase. So it's very important not just to test specific applications, but the entire journey holistically, looking at how a user or how a customer interacts with your business to transact many different potential transactions. These now include AI copilots and agents, as we just heard earlier. So let's talk about the strategy that we're employing here. AI itself is evolving. It's moving from copilots to fully automated agents, and it makes it extremely business critical, therefore imperative, to automate this testing. I'm going to introduce a few different types of concepts from the different visual blocks that Leapwork uses. But when you think about Leapwork in general, really what it is it gives you a visual automation platform, allowing you to solve for quick learning and onboarding of your QA or testing teams on the ability to automate, the ability to scale this out across your enterprise, and ensure end-to-end coverage across your application. So whether it's all within an application that has the same UI or moving between applications, Leapwork can handle that. And very important to today, the generative AI infused aspect to this. So there are going to be 4 specific visual blocks that I'll talk about today. There's going to be the AI transform, AI generate, and what these allow you to do. I'll just give you some concrete real world examples. For transforming, this gives you the ability to convert data, convert formats. So you can imagine as you go through your tests, you might create or enter data in one format, and maybe as you move to another system, it needs to be input into a different format. So you can think about European and US date formats, being able to trim text or translate text between languages, removing spaces, other characters. That AI transform block gives you the ability to do that by using a plain English prompt, right? So making it very easy to scale this out for anyone that's a citizen tester or even a manual tester today to be able to use this to increase their productivity and efficiency. The AI generate block allows you to do things like generating test data. So you can think about how you might create new tests with data that you have to enter in. Maybe you're filling out a form, you're using John Smith, Jane Doe, etc., and maybe maintaining a master list of data. What this gives you the ability to do is to generate new information that you can pass and create as your test data set that you enter in through the process. So it could even contain things that you might, as you're testing, might have to use potential PII. Well, instead of entering in a real social security number or a real phone number or email address or other aspects of a customer profile, this generate block can handle that for you and use information that you know does not come from an actual customer or client or employee. Two other blocks are the AI extract block. This really just makes it very, very simple when you're looking for a particular information. So think about a process that you might execute where an invoice or a quote or something is generated at the end in a PDF format. Leapwork can take that information, let's say it's pages long, and I just want to pull out specific data like the shipping date, the quote number, the confirmation code. We can do that by passing in the full set of data, asking the prompt, asking the block to pull out something very specific, and enabling this to extract that information that you can use to validate or verify your test as it goes through. Lastly, the AI validate block. This is where we're infusing AI into Leapwork, into the testing. Here, it provides you the ability to put a specific input or prompt and verify that it does what we say it does. And I'm going to show you this in the demo as well, specifically around how we interact with the prompts and output from the Copilot that exists in Contact Center. So Leapwork has a ton of capabilities that we bring to the table, and it makes it very much a fully comprehensive solution that can fit into your DevOps or existing testing strategies. What I'm going to focus on today are a few of our key components: the AI-powered recorder, generative AI capabilities, data-driven automation, subflows, which enables you to really scale out the automation, as well as execution and debugging. Before we get started, what I'd like to do is show you very quickly an example of Leapwork creating an automation. Then I'll jump into the live demonstration where I'll use the AI blocks as a part of this. But this is just to get anyone familiar with Leapwork if you may not have seen it before. So in the studio, we're using a building block to log into Dynamics to get everything ready. And we just turn on this recorder. As you see, when we're moving the mouse around the screen, Leapwork is going to pick up all the elements and interfaces so we can create, modify, and validate everything that goes on in the process. In this example, we're creating a new contact. We clicked new. We're filling out the details for the form and then verifying that that contact was created. One click and everything that we recorded is turned into building blocks in Leapwork. Now, of course, we'll want to test creating many different contacts, not just John Smith. So we'll select a few blocks and create a reusable subflow and call it create contact. Now we may want to drive this with some data from a data source, and this could be a database, an API, but in this case, we'll use an Excel sheet. It's very simple to visually select the range of the data needed that I want to use and set the first row as the header. Now it's just a matter of wiring up the data from the Excel sheet into our reusable subflow, and we'll set the Excel block to iterate through all the rows before we pass our test flow. Now, when we run the flow, all the different customers and contacts that are in that Excel sheet will be used to create a separate contact as it iterates through the sheet. So you'll see here, it's running through, filling out in the information. There's Tony Stark. It's going to create another contact. There's Clark Kent. And as it goes through, it verifies and validates that it was created correctly. At the end, we have a automation flow that can run. All the customers in the Excel sheet were found one by one in there, and it's very easy and highly effective way to drive this automation. And you'll notice when the run was completed, we had the visual automation flow still on the screen, as well as a video file and a detailed log that shows what happened as a part of that automation. Okay, that was a quick summary. By the way, for anyone who's on, feel free to put any questions that you have in the chat. I can answer them live or jump in and even show you if you have any questions on Leapwork. Now I'm in this scenario where I have my contact, I have my creation, I've created this automation flow that does exactly what I said. But I want to inject some AI in here. I have a limited list of contacts that I thought of, that my team thought of, that I could use as a part of this process. I've created a couple of things. I'm going to clear these two out. And I'm going to show how we can do a few things. One, I'm going to use an AI generate block to create the information that I want for this form. So let's go ahead and enter in a prompt. Create contact information test. And now I can add specific fields to this list. There's first name, last name, as I had before in the, I can type them. Let's put phone number. Let's do street address. Now you'll notice as I'm entering these fields for the output, this is going to influence what I have listed in my prompt above. So in the prompt above, I'm asking about creating contact information, and in the field below, it's going to use these fields to create that contact info. Now I've created a subflow for creating the contact info already. So I'm going to pull from this. Here's my fill contact form that I can just drag and drop. This is where the subflows become very scalable and reusable. Once someone captures a set of steps, no one has to capture that set of steps again. And I can just wire these two blocks together as far as my process, and then connect the data that I'm generating from this AI generate block into each of the fields, their corresponding fields, for the subflow that will fill out this form. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I will execute this, and what we should see is the form will be created for this this particular block. So let's go ahead and do this. Let me just click new, and we should see this form be filled out with the data that I'm generating automatically. We'll see how it interacts with the building blocks here to execute this. So there's a first name, created Aiden Smith, phone number in a phone number format. I didn't have to specify that. Gave me an address, 123 Maple Avenue in Springfield, Illinois, with a zip code and a zip code format, and it created an email address based on the name of the contact that it automatically generated. So I can run this over and over again and not have to think about every type of data input field that I might need for my form. And that's where the AI generate block comes in to help you and your teams with data creation as you go to execute your various tests. Now, while I go over to another example, it's a very important to note that this will bypass and potentially prevent some scenarios that I've had customers tell me very specifically where they didn't test for an apostrophe in the last name, and users with an apostrophe in the last name were unable to complete a transaction because it was breaking their workflow, and they didn't test for it because they didn't think to test for it. That's where the AI piece comes in. You can continuously test and check for leveraging the creativity of AI to populate your data set.
That's kind of what I was going to ask, because it felt like there's a lot of happy path testing here. How do you get it to create the edge cases that are the ones that are going to be problematic, right?
Yeah.
That's, I mean, when I think about automated testing, that's why you want to do some level. I mean, maybe you could talk to about like, why do you do automated testing in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the reason to automate is there's, especially when you think about anything in general that a user or customer, an employee might interact with software, might interact with those journeys, as I mentioned before. It's nearly impossible to test for every scenario. And you perfectly pointed out, Nancy, the difference between a happy path and what will get you in trouble. And that's why you test. You want to see what breaks the application. It's not just, hey, let me do all the things that I know works through the golden path. It's about capturing the different scenarios, injecting data that could break the process, and making sure as that end-to-end journey crosses different applications, crosses different scenarios, that a change in one, as updates happen, whether from the business or the back-end underlying product or application you're using, as those changes occur, it doesn't break your end-to-end process. I may test my CRM, make a change, CRM works perfectly fine, but now it's outputting information that's used by my ERP in a format that the ERP can't handle. That's where testing that across the board, automating this testing so a change on one team can execute a test for the end-to-end journey across the applications that other teams are responsible for. Super, super important, and allows a more cohesive approach and a holistic view on your journeys and on your automation.
So when I talk to clients, often there's reluctance to do automated testing first because the tool may be expensive, but there's an investment in setting up the tests. Do you have any sort of feedback on how much time it takes, those types of things?
Yeah, to make the case for automation in general, why automate? It's really to reduce the risk that something goes wrong, and typically those business processes have very much zero or a very low tolerance for that risk. So that's why to test in the first place, and why to justify, or how to justify, the investment in automated testing. When you think about the overall, approach there on leveraging automation and what it takes to get to a point where it's valuable, Leapwork in particular has a super, super quick onboarding ability. So we're seeing our customers anywhere between 30 and 40 days are onboarded and proficient. We lead with a teach you how to fish. We have several partners that assist us in this process as well. And the intent is, let's get you onboarded and up to speed. There's that visual automation, so you can get up to speed pretty quickly. And the second side of that is, well, how quickly can we get those test cases created and generated? And we work with Microsoft to build what we call our accelerator packs. So there are accelerators across Dynamics that, hey, here are the basic functions, for instance, on a F&O, like order to cash, procure to pay, some of the basic functions that you might find. And we've created hundreds of pre-built automation flows that we provide to our customers to get them very quickly as possible, to the point where they can start executing their tests. And because it's visual, it makes it very easy to modify and tailor this to your specific business processes as well. What I wanted
to see.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead, Tanya. You came off.
One of the things that came to mind in answering that question too is I see the same thing, as there's a reticence to spend on it, but what we also inherit is supportability of change management. Every firm is not built the same, and in documenting and the staff turnover and who's going to build a test case because who knows the process the best, that's where I see the biggest failures. So something like this, I think, is a risk mitigation tool to say it doesn't matter who your staff is anymore, right? Like this just kind of says it doesn't matter, where the risk is reduced here. So I think this is amazing.
Yeah, and that's the intent behind having something that is not built for developers. It's not built for engineers. It's built for the everyday person who knows the process. And it's not to say that maybe people, as you go higher in the maturity level from a technology standpoint, so like those full stack developers, they can then take this and really, really get some impressive scale out of it, and almost forming centers of excellence at organizations to get the teams of testers to leverage this. I'd like to take you through one other example, and I want to stitch together some of the other blocks, and this is going to tie back in what Ajay mentioned in the beginning, and this is just in Dynamics. It goes through.
You have about 5 more minutes, just so you know.
Yep. Okay. It's going to launch Copilot, and we're doing some prompting here, basically asking it to provide some instructions. So let's go back over to this area. I won't execute this part of the automation just for time's sake. But here it's in Copilot. They get an email. They're using Copilot to ask something or summarize something on the list. And I'll just go ahead and we'll just execute it from here. And I want to describe something. I want to reply to this email from this individual and leverage Leapwork to leverage some of the AI blocks, stitch them together to show some of the capabilities on how I can not only prompt and test that prompt gives me the information I'm looking for, but what else can I do with the data that's output? So in this case, I've asked it to provide instructions for offering, but also offering to sell a new filter, and the AI Copilot did give me some data back. And what I'm going to do in Leapwork is leverage that output to do a few things. First, let's go ahead and use the AI extract block, passing the text in, and maybe I want to pull out the product model. And I'll stitch these together for time's sake. Let's also say we want to transform the data, and let's translate to Spanish. Maybe I want to reply to that email in Spanish. And then lastly, I'll use my AI validate block. And I want to make sure it's validating specific information. So my expected result in plain English, I'm not doing a like for like or word for word comparison, but it should give me instructions on cleaning the unit, but also provide a link to purchase a new filter before I am done with this process. And I'll go ahead and execute it from where it reads the response, and it will read the response from that prompt. So again, how do I then not only test my process, but including the prompts and replies that the Copilot agent will give my customer service reps? This gives me the ability to test that and do a variety of things. And what we'll see here is Leapwork is processing it. It found the text. It extracted the product model. So that was that Smart Brew 3000. It translated it to Spanish, by the way, should be grammatically correct, which it usually is. But it failed on that validate block. Not only does it fail, but it tells me why. What I was looking for were instructions on cleaning the unit and a link to purchase the new filter. And it tells me why it failed. It did give me the instructions on cleaning the unit, but it did not provide a link to a new filter that I could offer. So if this was a part of my test, then hey, for this prompt where I ask the Copilot to give me the instructions and give me an offer to purchase a new filter, I can test for this and ensure in plain English what I want and see that it does fail this test as I expect it to, tells me failed, highlights the block, and gives me the reason exactly why that failure occurred. Now I can pass in several prompts, test all of the different feedback. Maybe I build a library of prompts that I expect the Copilot to give my customer service agents the proper information. And this allows me to build out that library, increase the reliability of Copilot as throughout this process. So I'll pause here. Are there any other questions? Happy to answer them. I also want to mention as well, and I don't know how we might be able to facilitate this, but there is a white paper that we did write with Microsoft on how do we leverage not only Leapwork's AI, but specifically with testing Copilot as well.
Yeah, if you share the link with us, we can put it probably in the description with the YouTube.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, we can do that.
Awesome. Awesome. That's great. I mean, I've been looking at automated testing since Windrunner days. So back in part of the Y2K stuff, it's super important for us, right, to be able to do that. So
Yeah.
it's very interesting to see the advances we've made in automated testing, and I think it still all holds true in terms of the value that we get out of implementing using automated testing. So yeah, if you have some slides you want to wrap up with.
Yep. Just to summarize here, right? What does this enable you to do? Test faster, test every journey. At the end of the day, you're delivering continuous quality, no matter the underlying technologies, whether AI or not, or different applications across the tech stack. And at the end of the day, application vendors are also backing us, as Jay mentioned before. We look at this as a win-win opportunity for our customers, Microsoft's customers, to the users, because it enables quick ramp, being able to create test cases pretty quickly, those accelerators that I mentioned as well. And all of this can be maintained in minutes because of the quick feedback loop that you get if there's a failure, where in the process it failed, exactly why, and that video file that helps with root cause analysis. So again, thank you, everyone. Any other questions, happy to answer them. And I'll provide that link to the white paper as well for anyone that's interested.
That's great.
Jay, do you have any, I know you came off mute. Do you have any other comments or? No. Okay. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to hand it over to Tanya and Jen to talk about what cool features they want to highlight for us.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Let me just bring up my screen here. All right, everybody can see our screen, our favorite CRM features?
Not just yet.
Not just yet. Okay, it's
Might be going via Spain. I don't know.
one more time here. Sorry.
There we go.
There we
No,
go.
I want to share. I just want to share a different screen here. Sorry. Okay.
Oh,
Nope.
we see your, yeah, that's the.
You think I've done this before, right?
I'm glad you're driving it at me because I'm probably the same way.
Oh my gosh, it's one of those days. Okay. All right. So thank you, Nancy, for passing this over to me and Jen. So we're going to take you through our favorite CRM features. I had to put the Canadian spelling in there. We're focusing on because we're a cross-border presentation here. We're focusing on the sales app today. We spend a lot of our time there. So by way of introduction, I'm Tanya Tygeson. I work for a company called SS&C Technologies. We're a global fintech servicing clients all over the world. My division focuses primarily on Microsoft Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. And I've been in this space since Microsoft version 1. So, and I'm a child prodigy because I'm not that old. So, but Jen, I'll let you introduce yourself and then we'll get started.
Yeah, so I'm Jennifer Jendo. I own JWJ Functional Consulting, and what I do is within the wealth and management industry, I help organizations bridge the gap between their overall or overarching strategies and their functional areas through technology. So if they come up with these strategies, it's my job to help them understand how they trickle down to the functional areas and can the functional areas support it, promote it, or hinder it. So that's what I do. I've worked with Tanya supporting her Salentica platform for almost 10 years. So very familiar with the Dynamics space. So I'm happy to be here today.
Yeah, and we regularly have to reach into the partner ecosystem for products like Leapworks to say, okay, here's the solution. So it's actually really nice to have these kinds of conversations just to see what is out there in the ecosystem, because we certainly don't solve everything. So it's really a nice ecosystem to make sure that we stay on top of. So, okay, without further ado, here's the few of the features that we're going to talk about today. So we just distilled it down to 6. Some of them are repeats. Again, on the last session, I did sort of like a wave 1 kind of overview, maybe the last session, but we're going to just focus on these top 6 items because Jen and I really like them, and we'll show you what we mean by them. So Jen, I'll hand things over to you.
Okay, great. So Microsoft markets certain features to sellers, but there are a variety of different types of sellers, and each is going to have a different need. So what I'm going to share with you today is my favorite features, but I'll do that from the different lens of the seller. So focused view, I like focused view. We know that Sales Accelerator, Workspace, and focused view they look and feel very similar. But the focus view is going to show every record, regardless of whether it has an activity. And so for this reason, I think that this view, the focus view, is great for sales managers that are leading their pipeline review meetings. So I've been, the first 17 years of my career, I sold. So I've been a part of a lot of pipeline review meetings, and they can be a hodgepodge of rehashing all of the other details that have happened, but they really should be about next steps, how you're feeling about the opportunity, and any obstacles. So in this scenario, if I'm a sales manager and I'm looking at this, it's immediately a red flag to me. And the red flag is that it's at a qualify stage, but yet I have an activity coming up to review pricing. So as a sales manager, that tells me either the salesperson isn't updating their CRM, or that they're prematurely providing pricing to the client without understanding key items and indicators like budget, need, or the purchase process. So that would bubble up immediately. But to keep the meetings in check, I would also recommend the use of changing the default sales insight form, because key details that you would want to talk about in a pipeline review meeting are either below the fold or they're missing from the form. So by using a custom form, a pipeline review form for this specific purpose, then those key items are there. You're not going to get caught up in any of the relationship insights, anything like that, which are all great features. But when I'm a sales manager and I'm sitting down and I'm blowing through everybody's pipeline, I want to know, what are you going to do next? And what help do you need from me? And by surfacing those fields specifically on a dedicated form for this purpose, they can easily drill down on that. And it keeps them routine and consistent. So that's why the focused view, if I'm a sales manager, and leveraging the specific pipeline form is really a good use of that time and allow you to blow through it.
I agree, Jen, on that. And I would say I like focus view on any entity. I would say
Agreed.
on contacts, on, in our world, it's a lot of relationship stuff. So I want to know what my service model might look like for my relationship. So I think focus view is a really valuable tool for all the users across the different areas, and it's supported on any table, which is great.
Right.
So it could be tailored to any sort of usage, and I think it does anchor really well in sequences, which we talked about last time. It's just that series of activities. So yeah, I think this is a great feature too. I would agree. 2 stars.
Yeah, I think the focus view allows you to focus on a specific entity. And a specific table. And so that's why I think it's really that dedicated moment of time you're going to work through your pipeline. And I think it's great from that perspective. Yeah.
And the last thing I'll say on that is the feedback I hear from clients is they like that it's one screen experience. I'm not clicking and opening. I'm navigating down my list, and in the screen to the right just paints according to that. So I know that's a really appreciated feature too. All right, let's move on.
I just heard even yesterday, too many clicks. How can I narrow down my clicks? And I think this also does help with
focus
that.
View. Yeah. All right. So that was a good dovetail into the pipeline view that you had been mentioning there too. So what are your thoughts here?
So the pipeline view is really helpful, again, regardless of the type of seller you are, to be able to look at your pipeline. What I like most about this is its configurability to support farmers. There's this notion of hunters and farmers in the sales world. It's an older notion, but I think it still fits. But farmers, their focus is on nurturing and growing relationships with existing customers. And so these opportunities tend to have a much longer sales cycle because the process involves ongoing communication to understand their needs, etc. So in this type of situation, it's not uncommon for opportunities to age, especially when the farmer's focus is based on client service or focusing on things that are in the later sales stages. The configurability here, what I really like is that you can change estimated close date to last modified. So if you're a farmer and your opportunities have a tendency to age, what you'll see is your pipeline is really heavy on the left. And that will help spawn that action. So if you haven't modified an opportunity, that meant you haven't worked it. And for me, I think from a farmer's perspective, that configurability is really helpful from that perspective of making sure that they're keeping on top of that those aging opportunities, oh, I got to do something with this one. I got to reach out to Tanya. I got to reach out to Jen. And that helps spur it because it's really heavy on the left.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit of a different sales model. You're not so much chasing a quarter, the quarter end like you are others. So estimated close date tends to be a little bit more fluid.
Yeah. I would add 2 more parts to this because I agree pipeline view is great. I like that you can summarize columns. So you can take that revenue column and you can show me the average size of my deal, for instance, or show me a tally right in the grid, which is a really nice feature. And then, of course, the overlap of AI everywhere in here. So once you're ready to kind of dive into a particular opportunity, use Copilot to help you kind of catch up, next best action, author that email, all that good stuff. So I think there's lots of ways to anchor users into this feature too. So I like this one as well. And it's been around for a while. It's just getting a little bit zhuzhy too. So, all right.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so I'll go quick on this one. So Sales Accelerator Workspace. So I like this for the type of seller that I'm calling the accidental seller. So these are people that have to sell out of necessity. It wasn't what they went to school for, and they commonly don't have a passion for it. So in this scenario, it allows me to work, like I have a meeting in here to talk to Tanya about this call. I also, inside of there, I'm also seeing opportunities and leads. I want to attend a networking event or a workshop in the coming months. But when I'm there, I want to also meet with a referral source. So what I'll do is I'll create a meeting or a phone call record and ask for that individual. So it all shows up. So it allows me to manage my workload without losing sight of that dreaded prospecting. If I don't enjoy it, which a lot of the accidental sellers don't, they're not going to go and seek it out. So this is a way of peppering that inside of their normal course of their day.
And it dives deeper into analytics and all this good stuff too, obviously with the flavor of Copilot. So I like the Sales Accelerator Workspace too. There's definitely more coming with Wave 1 as well, with the Copilot agents that are kind of, anchoring in the leads area. But I think we'll see a lot more coming in this space. All right. Thank you, Jen. I have a couple that I'm going to add in here too is finally, it's been a long time coming, is just the ability to use human language to do searches, where we don't have to train clients for 15 years to try to know which column to pick for your queries to create a view. So, so what's really nice is Microsoft's natural language query. So once it's enabled in the environment, you just start typing whatever comes to mind. So in this example, I wanted to find a list of relationships we have that are ranked as tier 1 and their market value. So our focus of clients is wealth and asset managers. So we show their clients market value. So our clients want to see, have I ranked my clients properly? Do I have any outlying data? So a natural query, a natural question our clients have is, show me who's off. And so I can simply type in a real human type of search that is more intuitive to everybody. You can save them, which is fantastic. And then you see on the screen here where it says number 2, the actual query output that the natural language query box actually produces. So when it first got launched, it wasn't smart. It's come quite a bit of way since December even. It didn't know how to reference things like if it contains data or does not contain data. It actually looked for actual words, but now it's actually looking into data types. It's actually quite smart now. Obviously, this feature needs to be enabled just over in your admin console. So you have to make sure that you enable the natural language grid and search view. So really nice feature, does work on all data types. So I had another example of a pretty normal human being talking about, I need to search on data. So show me all my contacts who are deceased, but we're missing a data death kind of piece of data that's important to a workflow, for instance. So when our clients need to roll off their clients, they need to reference this data. So it's really critical for them to be able to see it before they process things. And so having the ability just to search with what a human being would like to search with, it makes it a lot easier. And then again, it's really human based. So it's really a nice feature. So I'm giving this one like 3 stars. And then the last one I'll talk about is the smart pace. This one is smart. I won't call it genius yet. I'll say it's smart-ish. So in theory, just as a nugget, I'm sure everyone knows this already. Basically, take your source data, you copy it, put it on your clipboard. And it could be, in my case, I just grabbed an email, but it could be any document. Then you open up your CRM. I opened up a contact up in step 2, and I hit that new Smart Pace button. And then what the Smart Pace is supposed to do is read your clipboard. And then it's supposed to say, okay, I can read it. I'm going to find the home for it. So the reason I'm calling it smart-ish is one, if you have any formatting in your fields, it doesn't respect it. So, you'd have to adjust your data. It obviously can't insert data into fields that have field behavior like read only. If I don't have permissions to actually insert data into it, it's going to respect that, which is good. But I'm only giving it smartish because it skipped one of my updates. So my update was home phone is 705, blah, 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 and an additional email address, mario@gmail. It skipped my email. So it pasted, so it's grabbing my data. It looked fine when it was starting to paste it, but then because I've formatting in my field, it kind of messed it up a little bit, but it didn't grab the email address. And so that's why I'm only giving it 1 star right now. So I think it'll get better. It's definitely gotten better since December already because it's getting a little bit more testing out there. So, but I think there's some good efficiencies that clients will be able to adapt to with Smart Pace. But it's still, I think AJ said it earlier, it's AI with human review. Absolutely, this feature needs some human review. So
awesome.
That's it.
Thank you, Tanya and Jen. That was awesome and insightful. I always love to hear I do a lot of contact center, so I love to hear the sales side of things. I don't touch it as often anymore, so I'd love to see those insights. So thank you both for that. So we're about to wrap here. So thank you, all of our speakers. Thank you for attending. Kevin, you're on screen. Did you want to say something before we wrap up? I know we're over time, so.
Just real quick, just thank you for the opportunity, Nancy and Vanda. Vanda, thanks for the coordination efforts. Sorry for all of my emails bugging you. I apologize, but
no, it's a pleasure.
Hopefully we stayed true to the user group mentality, and we would love to have the opportunity to come back and talk to a different topic around automated testing at a future date.
Cool.
Which is a good segue, Kevin, to our next session. Vanda, what's our date for that one? Thank you.
It'll be, I'm sure it's the 27th of February, or February 27th, as you guys would say. But let me just double check. Let's just see.
It's change management, probably.
It's Stephanie, isn't it? We have
Yep, 27th of February.
That's right, 27th. My memory is not failing me. Yep. Yes. Perfect. And we will have Stephanie Levinskas, and she'll be talking to us about implementation change and change management.
Yeah, which we have a lot of need for in the day of Copilot. It's especially with the autonomous agents, it's going to fundamentally change how teams interact with the systems that we implement.
Yeah.
People, right?
I was going to talk about that today, Nancy, but it's such a huge topic. We're going to reserve it for the next one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I just posted a couple of links just as everybody knows, but I just want to keep putting the content in there. So, thank you.
Come back, bring your friends. If you're watching us on YouTube, please join us live so you can get some live questions and interaction. We'd like, we'd like this to be as interactive as possible. Yeah. And I guess we'll see you next time. Thanks for attending.
And just if you wouldn't mind just doing the survey, that would be fantastic. We love hearing some feedback and any suggestions for future topics. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
And I should probably just quickly add, I know we had one person join us very, very late on, Asaf. Obviously, you've missed most of the presentation, but we will be sharing the materials in the next few days, including a link where we'll upload this to YouTube if you'd like to have a look at this and go through it at your leisure. So I'll make sure that's available to you. Thank you.
Sound good. Thank you. Sorry for joining late.
No,
Okay.
problem.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. See you. Take care. Bye now.
Bye.